What I've got for you today is a kit from Beebeecraft. I have had this for a couple of months, and then I had my operation on my finger, and I had to wait for that to heal. I have filmed it once, this one, but I had my big bandage on, and you couldn't see anything, so it wasn't any good to do. So now that that's all off, so I thought, all right, I'm going to have a play. So what we've got here, and it comes with this storage box, and there's all the findings on this side. So you've got rings, spacers, little smaller spacers, heart spacers, some silver balls, some jump ring. Oh no, that's chain. There's chain, lobster clasps, the smaller ones, some charms, some like frosted balls, some smaller spacers, some smaller they're a bit like faceted small tiny spacers, and then we've got a different selection of beads, all in the pink theme, which was really good. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to have a play, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a charm bracelet. Not a charm bracelet, a charm dangle with the charms that are in this, these charms here. Okay, so what I'm going to do, so I'm going to empty out here and see what I've got. So we've got some butterflies. Let's have a look. There's some butterflies. That's a stag. I want that's some seashells. That's a starfish. You have to excuse my voice because I've had a really bad throat infection. That's a crown, couple of crowns, Christmas tree. I'm not going to do a Christmas theme one, so I don't need those ones. Another stag. That's an apple. That's cute. Flower. I think that's a handmade by me. I'm quite liking the shells and the starfish. I don't want to use the apples or the other Christmas tree or the snowflake, or the crowns, and I think I might just use one of the big butterflies. So let's take one of each of these away. Okay, so I think I will use these 5. So we've got a shell, starfish, a flower, a handmade by me, and then the biggest butterfly. Okay, and the rest I put back in the box here. Okay, so we've got some chain here. So I'm going to open the bag. I'll leave the link to the... now what we've got here is that they're actually chain extenders, but I use them. I think they're really cool for doing your charms with, because they're just the right length. So I'm going to use one of those, and I shall put the rest of them in here. Oops. That's just some broken bits. Get those that way. So we need one of those. Okay. I think what I might do is get a piece of something so you can see better. So just hang on a minute. Okay, so we've got the charms we're going to use and the chain. There is some smaller like lobster clasps, these ones, but they're quite small for like a dangle charm, say for something to go on the side of a traveller's notebook. These would be fine because I would be just attaching it to the front, the elastic that goes round. So that's what I'm making this for. So I'm going to use one of these. If you want it for like a handbag charm or something like that, you'd need a bigger lobster clasp. So let's put those in. So they're nice, shiny, nice quality. So we're going to use one of those. Let's put the rest of those in there. Okay. Alright, so let's put those out of the way. Okay, so that's our... So I'm going to use some of my own stick pins, to set my own stash, but you can still get stuff like that off of Beebeecrafts as well. So I'm going to wire wrap my charms that I'm going to make. So I just need a selection of stick pins. These are quite soft ones. I use these ones if I'm going to wire wrap, because I don't use normal stick pins that you would make, you know, like colour stick pins with, because they're harder to wire wrap. But these ones are, they're just long enough. They've got a little ball on the end of them. So I think I got these off of eBay. I'm not sure, but I'm sure if you look on Beebeecrafts, they do, you know, stick pins as well. So I've got that. I've got a lovely selection of different beads. There's these two here that are like got quite a wide thing. I'm not going to use these because the stick pins that I'm going to use to wire up, these are too big. So I'm just going to empty these into the tray. So they're lovely pink, but the holes are quite big on these. But that's quite good because I've got a, you know, the pens that you sort of add beads to. I've got some of those in grey, so they'd be quite nice, and I could use these on it. Okay. Right, so I'm going to use these jump rings. So I want a selection of these. So I'm going to put those there. The rest I will pull from here because I need to attach the chain to the jump ring. So I'm going to do that. So I've got 2 pairs of flat nose pliers. Okay. These are flat nose, so they're curved on one side and then flat on the inside. So I'll get my jump ring without dropping it. And when you open the jump ring, I'm sure you don't need me to tell you, but you don't open the jump ring that way. You open it from side to side, and that way you don't lose the shape of your ring. Okay. So firstly I add the chain. And then I'm going to add the lobster clasp. Okay, and then just close it back up again the same way, just pulling them together. Oops. Making sure that there's no gap for it to come off. And what I normally do is just give it a bit of, you know, squeeze at the joint. Just so we know it's nicely together. So there we go, we've got our jump ring on and our lobster clasp end. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is take another jump ring, oh, fiddly, and I'm going to open it up, and I'm going to add my big butterfly here that we've got, and I'm going to put that onto the end of the chain. That's going to be on the end, and this, I'm going to add this one to my once I finish this is going to go on my traveller's notebook, my white one with a little unicorn face on it that I'm using at the moment. So there we go. Make sure that's together. So now we've got, so I normally do it this way, and I normally put something like bigger on the bottom, and then I can add whatever beads and that I want. Okay, so I'm going to put that there. I've got these. I'm going to zoom in a bit more so you can see what I'm doing. Okay, so I'm going to take a selection of beads. So I'm going to put these in the trays. So these are glass beads, they're not like acrylic, they're lush. So I'm going to take a couple of those. Okay, and then we've got like some smaller ones. These are sort of like, they've got like pink and a creamy colour. I'm going to take a couple of these, put the rest in there. And then I've got some of these are more pearlised, these ones. And these are also a glass. So pretty. So I'm going to take a couple of those. And what else have we got? Oh yeah, I want to use these like frosted pink ones. They're so pretty. If I can get the bag open. These are lush. Look at those. I've got a bling on that. So I'll just pick a couple of those. They're my favourite, I think. I've got these are sort more like a, these are more like a peachy pink, so don't think I'm going to use those. Same with those ones as well, but I will make something different with them. So I'm just having a look to see what, oh yeah, we've got some like crystally, these are glass as well, look at those, the bling on those. So I'll take a couple of those. Oh, they're quite pretty and glistening as well, so I think I'll use those. Okay, so I think what we've got so far, I haven't used those yet, but I might use those. Right, okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to wire wrap up a couple of these beads, but what I'm going to do, if I put this stick pin on here now, the end, it has got a ball on it, but because the hole is a bit big, it's just going straight through. But to solve that problem, what I'm going to do, I'm going to use, which one will I use? What's this heart one? I don't think, that's not a heart one, that's the heart one, and that's the spacers. That's not going to be any good because the hole's quite big. Let's see, let's try this. Now this is like, you're probably not going to be able to see it, but it's like a very small, like faceted shape. So I'm going to see whether that's going to fit on the bottom. So I was just trying to find, right, yep, so that works. So that fits on the bottom there, like that. So that's really nice. So let's see now whether we can get our, yes, so there we go. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to use, now we've got some smaller ones of these spacers, these like the flowery ones. and then we've got some bigger ones. So let's see which ones we're going to use. I think I might use the small ones, they're really pretty. So I can put that on. I have no rhyme or reason or what I'm going to do. So what I might do is put the pink, because that's quite pretty. I think I might, or I might put the pale one on actually, because that's quite pretty. Sorry, I can't see the hula certificate. Right, so that's quite, oh, I quite like that. So that's quite pretty. So yes. So what I'm going to do now is I just want to finish that off there quite nicely. So I think what I will do is just some of these little heart ones. Let's see if you can see. It's a really tiny little heart bead, so I think I'm going to add that. Making sure it's the right way up. There we go. Okay. Now, so I'm going to use my round nose pliers and a pair of flat nose pliers, okay, in order to do a wire wrap. So you want to grab the end of your, the beads that you've picked. Don't leave too much of a gap, because if you do, you'll end up with a gap between the. But don't make it too tight either. You need enough space, less than I don't know, 1/8 of an inch, maybe a 1/16. It's a really small space that you're leaving. You know, about sort of like that far down on the pliers. Okay. And then what you do, you bend it over like that, okay, and then you twist upwards. You twist your, so you go like from the stick pin, you can see, bend it over. In fact, I'm going to use my round nose. Okay, so you bent it over. Sorry, that's really hard to show you. Okay, and then what you do is you twist your pliers upwards like that. So you're now, instead of being at the bottom, you've now moved your pliers to sort of like the top part of where it's bent, okay? And then you bring the wire across. So now you've got sort of like, let's see if I can show you, this like little loop there. Can you see that? Okay, so I'm just gonna, yeah. Okay, so then I'm gonna get my flat nose. So you get your flat nose, hold the loop that you've got there now, this one, like so, okay, and then you start wrapping your wire around. And what this does, it helps to make sure, I'm just going to cut off the little bit I don't need. What this does, it makes sure that it does, like with jump rings, obviously you've got like a little bit of a gap, haven't you? And sometimes these can fall off. But if you do it with like this, where you've wire wrapped it, there's no way you're going to lose any of your beads, or, and you can actually wire wrap directly onto your chain, and that way you don't have to use any jump rings. But I'm not going to do that today because I will show you how to do that another time. So I'm just making sure that that's, and feeling to see if, right, so I'm just going to get my crimpers and make sure that the bit of the wire that was sticking out is not sticking out anymore, so it's not going to stick in. Okay, just straighten that up. So there we've got our first dangle. Okay, so I'm going to speed it up. I am going to carry on filming it, but I will speed it up. But that way you can still see me doing it, but it's not going to. Otherwise, you'll be here all day. Okay.